Here's more wrestling news for December 30th, 2022. And we're starting off this afternoon with Mandy Rose, as it's been just over 2 weeks since her controversial release from WWE. During her return to NXT, Rose was the leader of Toxic Attraction, who now have to go it alone without her, but that was always the plan. On his show, Meltzer said that the plan was always for Gigi Dolan and Jacy Jayne to be called up to the main roster, but without Rose with them. Fans already saw a tease of this earlier this year, as Dolan and Jayne competed in the WWE Women's Tag Team title tournament, but were later pulled due to Dolan suffering an injury. Meltzer added that at the time of their main roster appearance, it was determined that the duo were not ready for the rigors of the main roster, and it's possible that this injury was not genuine, but just a reason to get Toxic Attraction off of TV. This week's NXT saw the first appearance of Toxic Attraction since Rose's release, and there was something that felt missing, but as far as WWE is concerned, their plans are right on schedule. It's been almost 4 months since CM Punk last competed in AEW, as his comments after All Out and the Backstage fight led to his immediate suspension. While many expect Punk to leave the company soon enough, there were some who want him to stay and wrestle, and that's something he's okay with. When a fan on social media suggested that the Elite and Punk need to shake hands and make amends, Punk responded with a simple, "Duh." Dax Harwood recently pleaded with the four to make things work, saying they could shape wrestling's future for years if they could, and while Punk isn't opposed to the idea, it remains to be seen if this will ever happen. Do you think Punk and the Elite should try to make things right, and more importantly, do you think it can even happen? Let us know in the comments. Back to WWE, and the Usos are the longest reigning tag team champions in the company's history and have proven their loyalty to the bloodline time and time again. For years, the Usos and the New Day feuded over the tag title gold, but recently a resurfaced clip has had fans choking up. During the Kofi Mania storyline, Big E and Xavier Woods had to go through a bunch of tag teams for Kingston to earn a WWE title shot, and one part of this gauntlet match saw them go up against the Usos. While the exhausted New Day were prime pickings, Jimmy and Jay shocked everyone by forfeiting the match, saying Kofi Kingston deserved a title match at WrestleMania. On Twitter, fans reacted to the resurfaced clip, with one person saying it had them in tears, while another called it some of the best TV in terms of storytelling you'll ever see. Big E and Woods would go on to win the gauntlet match, and Kingston would become WWE Champion at WrestleMania 35. But nearly 4 years later, this respect between the Usos and the New Day is still an incredible moment. In July 1995, the WWF debuted possibly the most surreal superstar we've ever seen, the magical mime known only as Fantasio. Portrayed by Harry Del Rios, Fantasio would only have one match in which he'd use magic to remove his opponent's boxers, but the real excitement played out backstage. During the latest Something to Wrestle podcast, Bruce Pritchard recalled Fantasio's match and how he nearly burned down the gorilla position before his match. This dumb sitting there getting ready to go out and all of this stuff, and all of a sudden, he's got a little container about, the size of a Visine bottle, maybe a little bigger. He drops it, and the next thing I know, now I'm backed up, and I'm surrounded by pipe and drapes all around me, and then there are the curtains they go out of. Well, I'm on fire. The gorilla position's on fire, and Kevin Dunn is screaming, "Send him!" And I go, "We're on fire." He goes, "Send him!" I was like, "Goddamn, gorilla's on fire, get me an extinguisher now!" Pritchard added that Fantasio planned to shoot fireballs into the air as part of his entrance, something that he hadn't told anybody about ahead of time. Fantasio disappeared from WWF television just as quickly as he had arrived, but this was a vanishing act that the magical wrestler had no part of. It's safe to say that MJF is one of the best talkers in wrestling today, with his refusal to break character earning him the respect of fans and those in the industry. The holder of the Big Burberry belt is always on when it comes to being a heel, and he didn't appreciate a recent award from ESPN. After being crowned the Promo Artist of the Year, MJF took to Twitter to ask if he's getting a f***ing plaque for this bullshit, and took aim at ESPN journalist Greg Wyshynski. When the latter joked that the best prize he could muster was a copy of Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch on DVD, MJF responded with a simple but effective, "Go to hell, Greg." MJF has already successfully defended the AEW World Championship against Ricky Starks at Winter is Coming, and it looks like Bryan Danielson is next on his radar, and expect plenty of foul-mouthed promos from the Devil in the coming year. It was only a few months ago that Dexter Lumis was rehired by WWE after being released earlier this year under the old regime. On WWE's main roster and in NXT, Lumis has played a supposed serial killer, a similar character to his run as Samuel Shaw in Impact, and based off Dexter Morgan from the hit series Dexter. During the latest Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Road Dogg Jesse James spoke about Lumis, saying he originally wanted him to be from Skinwalker Ranch. For those not in the know, Skinwalker Ranch is a place where plenty of mysterious happenings have occurred, including UFO sightings and paranormal activity. Unfortunately for Road Dogg, Triple H buried the idea straight away, and it would admittedly not make sense for someone who's supposed to be a real serial killer to be tied to a supernatural place. Wherever he's billed from, Lumis is proving to be a hit on Raw thanks to his feud with The Miz, and we'll have to see what the new year brings for the troubled artist. This week, FTR lost the AAA World Tag Team titles to Dragon Lee and Dralistico, ending their reign at 438 days. This is the latest title for FTR to lose after dropping the ROH World titles to the Briscoes at Final Battle, and don't expect to see Cash Wheeler or Dax Harwood in AAA for some time. Fightful Select reports that the duo are done with AAA for the time being, which explains the decision to lose the titles. Fightful also learned that FTR informed AAA that they wanted to drop the tag team titles and finish up with them at the end of the year. It wasn't too long ago that Harwood claimed how his and Wheeler's AEW deals are up in the spring and that they are considering taking a year's break from wrestling. Before then, the two will defend the IWGP World Tag Team titles at Wrestle Kingdom 17 next week, but for fans of FTR, don't expect them on AAA programming anytime soon. And we're ending today with Maria Kanellis Bennett, who has been involved with several wrestling promotions, but right now the former 24/7 champion is dealing with a serious issue. On Twitter, Maria informed her fans that her Facebook account has been hacked and tweeted that it is now being used for ads and propaganda. In April, Maria founded her Women's Wrestling Army promotion and recently debuted for AEW, though she and the Kingdom haven't been seen in Tony Khan's company since then. Wrestlers being the victims of hackers is sadly nothing new, and we've seen the damage it can do to stars such as Saraya, and we hope that Facebook is able to get a hold of things and that Maria's page is sorted very soon.